Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. Can you take me serious? Cause Hi guys, thank you for tuning in this week. Everybody knows it's October. Duh. It's October, and that is one of my most favorite months in the entire year, except for the month of my birthday. That's totally different. If anybody knows anything about me, it's that I love October because I love all the makeup I get to do, and I love the Halloween, I love the special effects, I love all the crazy stuff that I'm able to do in the month of October. It's more acceptable in October than I guess like any other time, but ooh, this. So I'm super excited about this look today. As you can tell, it's not your everyday kind of beauty look. I mean, if it is, then suit yourself. What's on today's tutorial is actually this look that actually I have already done. I think about a year to 2 years ago or so. It was one of my favorite looks, but it was an inspired look by Alex Faction and Gina. They did a collab together, and I saw it and I loved it. And so what I did is I was like, I'm gonna take a little twist on that, and I'm gonna do what I wanna do, but I like what they did. So I kind of wanted to give my own little spin to it. It really had some nice feedback back then, and so now I wanted to kind of just show you how it is, because it is Halloween on a budget. If you are on a budget for Halloween and you want something quick, simple, and easy, and only a couple products, this is your guy or girl. This is it. You can get any of these products, which I will list down below, but any of these products at pretty much any just regular old costume store or just a store basically. You can pretty much find any of these products or something like these products anywhere, and they're really not that expensive. So that's what's the cool part about this stuff. So why don't we just kind of jump right into it and get started. I'm going to start the prepping for my actual makeup look with a primer, which is a Lorac Behind the Scenes Eye Primer. It's an eyeshadow primer, even though we are going to be doing some more of like water paint and stuff like that. I'm still going to apply a primer just in case, because your eyes do get a little bit oily, and so I want to make sure that they kind of keep the color and keep everything on top of each other, which is awesome. But we're gonna start out with a primer, make sure that everything will stick later on, especially through the night, especially if you're gonna do this look for something later down the road. After I've primed, my next step is that I'm going to take Ben Nye Color Cake Makeup for face and body, and I'm going to apply that with water. These are all water-based products that I'm going to use today. So these, this product is just activated with water. I'm going to apply it all over my face. I'm gonna leave out my eyes. I'm even gonna cover my lips, and then I'm gonna drag it down all the way up my décolleté area, which I kind of brush out, as you can see, and kind of let it fade into my shoulders. The coat doesn't have to be completely even, because we're going to be going over it later on with details, but just make sure you have at least a good amount of color to your skin. So I am applying the Ben Nye Wide Face Color. What I'm doing is I'm outlining where my teeth will be later on, so I'm just making straight lines. I started directly in the middle. I'm moving outwards, and I'm making just straight lines, and I'm spacing them between how far I want my teeth to actually be. So it'll come together in just a little bit. But after that, I'm going to actually go in with some black eyeshadow from the Lorac PRO Palette, the first edition, and I'm going to contour my skin until looking a little bit more on the deader side, so more like a skull. And what I'm doing is I'm just kind of following the shape of my cheekbone, coming down to where the hollows of my cheeks would be if I were to be a skull. Now this is gonna be a little bit on the scarier side, not necessarily the most realistic. Then I'm also taking the black, and I'm kind of going into my temples, forehead, a little bit down, following my cheek bones and following my jawline. And then I'm also gonna go ahead and bring it down to my neck. I'm following the natural shape of my collarbones and of my jugular, and I'm following the natural shape with that black eyeshadow, and just kind of hollowing things out, making it look a little bit more creepier. So I'm only using a little tiny bit of the black powder. That's why it looks a little bit of the gray. You can see where the black is in there, but it's black. And it just wants to look gray because that's what it wants to do. So that's what I'm gonna do. Because I want it to be a little faint. I don't want it to be anything like too crazy or too much or too harsh, because these are just supposed to be shadows. There's gonna be stuff that goes on top of it, and I don't wanna ruin it. Don't ruin it. Don't ruin it! Just kidding. So you can make a fish face and it looks just like the same. Anywho, now that we did the contouring and we started with the teeth, we're gonna go in and actually kind of fill out and define the teeth. So I'm gonna go back to that Ben Nye, the white, and I'm gonna go in between those lines that I've already made, and I'm going to actually make teeth in between. To make the teeth, the easiest way that I've found is doing your lines, kind of mapping them out where you want them to be and how big or wide, making squares, and then kind of pulling them out to make like a weird, you know, like the teeth are like the root of the teeth. You're pulling it down or you're pulling it out to kind of make that creepy look to it. But you know, all teeth have roots to it. And so I'm kind of following the shape where I make a square and then kind of make like triangles on the end of them and then like pull them down. So it just kind of like works. And I just kind of go with whatever line kind of goes or comes with it. So now that we got our teeth, we're going to go ahead and we're going to now start with the black and defining what we have. The black I'm going to use now for the eyes, the nose, the defining, all that stuff is I'm going to use Mehron's Paradise Makeup in the color black. So I went ahead and I took the black Paradise paint and I outlined the entire mouth, including the inside and on the inside of my mouth, just so that that pink that my lips were wouldn't show, so that later on it's a little bit more realistic. And then what I'm gonna do is, now that I've gone through with the black, I'm gonna just kind of brighten up the white underneath. Just kind of define anything that I had messed up or I had fixed or I want to fix or anything like that. After I went in, defined the teeth just a little bit more, after I went ahead and I did the black to them, or after I went ahead and I did the black outline, I am now using just the leftover paint from the black and the white on my brush and kind of dragging it down to make like that gray look, so that they kind of fall down and the teeth roots are kind of dripping. Not dripping, but just like kind of like spreading. It's all gonna make sense once you start doing like your organic lines down your neck and your chin and all that stuff there. So you kind of get where you're at, but this is kind of where you should be. Now again, make your teeth your own. Do however you feel like. If you want to be scarier, be scarier. If you want to be a little bit more clean, be clean. Do what you want to do. Just make this look your own, and that's what being inspired is all about. So I'm going to go ahead and go in with the black Paradise paint once again, and I'm going to outline my nose. Now I started kind of, you know, the typical skull nose, but I wanted it to be still kind of have the same type of, I guess, essence, or the same type of feel that my mouth and my veins like later on will have. So I wanted it to kind of like creep up, and that's kind of where the top of this part comes in. So after the nose, I'm going to actually shape out the eyes, and we're going to paint them all in black. And so I'm shaping out the eyes to kind of make them look a little bit meaner. So I'm gonna kind of round them out, kind of, if you want to make a frowny face, you want to kind of outline where you actually naturally frown, and then I'm going to kind of drag it out just a little bit more to the side here, and then I'm going to kind of fill in once I like the shape of the actual eye. So I'm gonna go all the way close to my lid on both sides. Now remember, your eyes are primed, so it should hold your makeup pretty well. This stuff works well on its own, so I'm not too worried about it, but if you're a little bit like worried about it or self-conscious, then you can definitely like add some primer and it should help. Now you have to remember that this paint is water-based, so it activates with water. So you have to make sure you want to let it dry. You don't want to use too much water. That way, if you want to add layers to it, you definitely can. Because once it's kind of dry and you use a minimum amount of water, it definitely works well and better that way, I think. Especially with the eyelids. The eyelids are a little bit harder because you know you're wet there or you're oily there and you're always moving and blinking. It's a little bit more moist. So it's definitely something that you have to like look out for, especially when you don't want any like blotches or, you know, missing areas of paint. You don't want to miss areas of paint because then you'll be that girl or that guy, that girl who has like a really harsh stripe contour and you see your line, or like somebody who like doesn't match their skin to their neck. You'll be like that. And then people will be like, I feel like you guys can't see my expression because of everything. That's what they'll look like. No good. This is kind of cool already, right? Well, now for like the fun little intricacy part. So now we're gonna kind of sprout. We're gonna become a tree. That's what I feel like this works. This, like, to me, this looks like a roots from a tree. That's what it looks like to me. The only thing with the Paradise paint is that you actually do need a lot of water so that you get like a nice solid thick or thin black line. Now I'm just going in with some black and putting some organic lines in there just to kind of make it feel like one. This is a personal preference. If you feel like you don't want to put any of these lines on your face and you just want to skull and then everything down here, do it. Okay, now for fun lines. So I'm still using the Mehron Paradise paint in the black to make my lines come down. So I'm just kind of, again, all organic, all whatever I kind of feel like doing. So there's no like step to give you except for just like from the chin. I like to leave a little bit of space within the jaw here, and then I'm gonna drag it down. So I'm doing different shapes, different sizes, different thicknesses, everything just different. I am going to take Wet n Wild Mega Last Blackest Black eyeliner. I'm going to use this for more of a thinner line to be in here. So to kind of go in between all of these things so they're not all the same length and size. Now that we have that done, I'm going to go in with the eyes now that they're dry. And I'm going to just add some black eyeshadow into them just to make sure that all the color is filled in and there's no gap. So I'm still going in with the Lorac Pro Palette in black. Then I'm going to go ahead and take the same liner that I used on my body for the lines here, the Wet n Wild, and I'm going to go ahead and put it in my waterline and just align my line from top to bottom. Just gonna go in and just define certain things that I see. I also just decided that I was gonna drag everything up. Kind of give it that smeared, creepy look. Once the paint is completely done, you're gonna look a little something like this. I gotta sneeze. Okay, anyway, so once that's all done, we pop in some contacts and we make ourselves look real good. Alright guys, so there you have it. There's my inspired look, and I hope that you guys enjoyed it just as much as I enjoyed showing it to you. Please leave me any feedback, any comments, anything that you have about this look or a future look or anything that you might want to see this Halloween season. But if you do create this look, please hashtag Raemiemakeup or I do hair and makeup artistry so that I can see your stuff, because I would love to see any of the recreations that people actually do. So that would be really cool for me to see. Again, just share this. This is Halloween on a budget. This is super simple to get, and again, I will list all those products, where to get them, super easy stuff to find. But if you love this video and would like to see more, or you enjoyed it, please like it and subscribe so that you will stay tuned to what's coming next. But I really hope you enjoyed this just as much as I did. So I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.